Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel. It is your girl Nwabi and we have another Beauty and the Binge where I do my face while talking about a binge and having a face or a makeup look based on the binge. And if you're new to my channel, welcome. Thank you so much for tuning in. Please do not leave without subscribing and pressing notification bell so that every time I upload a new video you get notified. So in today's binge, I am going to be listing my top 10 hidden gems that I found on Netflix. These are series or movies, by the way, that I feel are worth the watch on Netflix, and it's something that's not necessarily popular with the public, but it's something that I definitely enjoyed that is on Netflix, and I think you would too. So if you want to see that, stay tuned in. But just before we get started with the binge, let's have a little bit of an ad reel.
Today's video is sponsored by Duque Official, which is a makeup brush beauty store that reached out to me and sent me this lovely 31-piece brush set. Duque Official can be found on Instagram, and I will be leaving my affiliate link in the description box, so please do check them out. By the way, the hairs of the brushes are synthetic fibers, which means no animals are harmed or abused in making of these brushes, and it is a vegan-friendly brush store. I definitely think you guys should check them out as their brushes work amazingly.
Okay, let us get straight into it. I am going to be listing my top 10, and in listing my top 10, I am going to be telling you guys what I enjoy about the series and just basically giving you, oh, not just series, guys. When I say series, just assume movie as well, and basically what the series or movie is about. I'm just gonna give a very basic premise without giving away too many spoilers. That way when you watch the show you can definitely go and enjoy it, because I did too. So I'm gonna start from 10 and I'm going to go down, and I've got my phone here, guys, because I need to remember which ones I was gonna talk about. Okay, so I'm gonna start from 10 and go down, and I'm just going to give a little bit of an idea of what the series is about. Starting at number 10, I have Dynasty. Okay, so this is a gem and a half. Dynasty is one of the best, oh, not the best, but it's one of the cutest series that I've actually watched that is on Netflix. So Dynasty is about the Carrington family, and we have our main character who is Fallon, and it's basically showing the ups and downs of being from a well-off family that is, you know, the business tycoons, you know, it's basically like, you know, the main storylines and arcs that have been in like telenovelas and that has been in like soapies like Abo Bold and the Beautiful, Abo Days of Our Lives. So it's basically in Njalo Way to Dynasty, and it's about the Carrington family and their business and their enemies. It's very telenovela-ish. It's very overly dramatic in some parts, but I definitely enjoyed it because it shows the lives and going of Fallon Carrington, which is one of the main characters. And also what I love about it is the fashion. Okay, Fallon will give you looks undoubtedly. It may have a little bit of overacting here and there and very over embellished plot lines and plot twists and hectic things, but I definitely think that you would enjoy it if you are someone who likes watching very light-hearted drama filled series that's more I don't know how to describe it, but it's at number 10 on my list because it's really not that dynamic in terms of the way in which TV can be, but it's definitely worth the watch and it's worth something that you want to try out. Okay, so I definitely recommend Dynasty as a series. And then at number 9 we have Dope. Dope is a movie. I absolutely enjoyed this movie. It's very light-hearted and it also highlights a little bit of issues in race and drug dealing and but it's the main premise is about this guy who basically lands a bag of drugs drugs. I forgot the name of the drug, but he lands a bag of drugs and he must sell it because the dealer, or rather the person who basically invests in the drugs, says he has no other choice but to sell it. And it just shows us a lesson on race. It shows us a lesson on how you can be smart and you can sell drugs. It basically shows us, you know, don't judge a book by its cover. And at the same time, he is trying to apply for varsity at Harvard, so it's basically his essay, and he's telling his story via this essay of his that he needs to send to Harvard. It's like they're in high school. It's very light-hearted. It's a movie I really enjoyed because I feel like it just shows, it also teaches you a few lessons. And as a teen movie, you know, some teen movies are like really whack and they're unoriginal, they don't have original stories. This one was quite original on its own, and even the storyline, and even, you know, the plot is very original and it's different from other high school stories, because most high school movies, like for example like To All the Boys and The Kissing Booth, is mostly based on a person's relationship, and that's literally not the only thing high schoolers go through, in my opinion. So having all stories be like, you know, these rom-commy movies where this girl falls in love with this guy, they have a huge fallout and then they fall in love again, that's overdone and overworked. And To All the Boys is a good movie, I am not going to lie about that. I enjoyed To All the Boys. It's cute, it, you know, it has the gusto, it has the things that need to be done for a teenage movie. But this one is quite underrated on its own. Dope is quite underrated on its own, and it's just something different, man, that I think that you would definitely enjoy. So I would definitely recommend that you try Dope out. It's a young and it's a diverse cast, by the way, because it's got a young dark-skinned male as the lead, and it's got a majority black cast. I think there's like one or two white guys on the cast. Like, it's literally diverse. So I definitely think, even in terms of the politics around or surrounding casting and movies, I think it's quite diverse. It's got Zoe Kravitz as one of the characters. She's kind of a stale actress for me, but that's just my opinion. What do you guys think of Zoe Kravitz as an actress? You can definitely leave a comment down below telling me what you guys think of her. Like, she's not dynamic. She really does nothing for the movie, if we're being totally honest. But she's in it as well. She's in it as well. So you guys can tell me what you think about it when you are done watching it. And if you do watch any of these series or movies that I recommend, please do comment down below if you even have watched it, and tell me what you guys thought about it, and do you think it deserves to be in the top 10 hidden gems, or should it be in its own? Saying that if you guys think that one of these series should have been on its own, Beauty and the Binge, and not part of a list, you can definitely comment below and share your opinion, and we can have that discussion and conversation in the comments section. Now we move on to number 8 on the list. And this list, for me, why I say these are hidden gems is because I feel like these series are very much underrated when it comes to Netflix. It's not series and movies which were popular when they were either released or when, popular after they were released, or during, well, my time on Netflix, and seeing, like, when people suggest things on Netflix, especially when people tweet like, oh, please suggest things that I can watch on Netflix. These series and movies aren't necessarily something you'd find someone suggesting, or you'd find people suggesting under those tweets. So that's why I feel like they're hidden gems, and they're kind of underrated compared to everything else that is watched on Netflix. All right, so let's move on to number 7. Number 7 on my list has to be The Crown. So The Crown, I'm quite, you know, indifferent about The Crown because The Crown, I enjoyed the first 2 seasons, and I saw the trailer for the third season, and I didn't think that I would enjoy it, so I haven't really watched the third season yet. But The Crown, I enjoyed it because it was the telling of Queen Elizabeth's story from a different perspective. We kind of saw the perspective of Lilibet and everything that she had to go through, and the stories of other people surrounding her, and basically everything that has happened in England. I know we've seen the story so many times. How many times have you watched the British Dynasty? So what's the point of The Crown? But The Crown is actually quite enjoyable. I really enjoyed it because it just gives you another idea of Elizabeth's story. And also I know that in season 4 it's going to show the story of when Princess Di made her entry into the royal family. And we all know how the royal family has so much controversy, and how, especially with Meghan Markle, hopefully The Crown lasts long enough so that Megs can have her side of the story, her part, even though I highly doubt, because we know how they feel about her. But basically The Crown is about the dynasty of England and the monarchy and the British royals, and it starts the story from the time Utataka Elizabeth was still king, and then it goes with it. So I really enjoyed it. It is a well told story, and I feel like the actors and actresses on the series are actually like quite great. That's why I enjoyed the series so much. So I would definitely recommend that. It's one of the underrated Netflix finds. Then we move on to number 6, which is Queen of the South. I love this girly. I love her. It's about a Mexican story, and it's about the cartel. If you enjoyed Narcos, you definitely enjoy the Queen of the South. Basically, Queen of the South is about how this girl who got involved with basically a drug dealer, or rather not a drug dealer we do for a cartel. She got involved with a drug dealer for a cartel, and that drug dealer was stealing from the cartel boss, and so she basically got not involved, but she got sucked up in that whirlwind of trouble and drama, and it shows her rise in the cartel business. It's very, I love it. I just love Queen of the South. It's very girl magic, because it basically shows the comings and goings of being a woman in the cartel industry, and it's just fire. I just believe it is fire. It is fire, 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 and it's definitely worth a watch. Like, Teresita Mendoza is one of the best characters I've watched, and it does have, I think, 4 or 5 seasons. I'm not particularly sure which season is coming, so it is something that is binge worthy, and you can actually binge it for a while. December is coming, guys, and with December, as much as we could be out and about, it's Corona, so December is coming, and there's a possibility where we could find ourselves in another lockdown. We do not want to close off that scenario, but we could find ourselves in another lockdown. So you definitely want to have things that you can binge with long seasons, and you can start from season 1 and you can watch it for a few days or a few weeks, depending on how much of a binger you are. So I would definitely recommend Queen of the South as something you should watch. At number 5, we're halfway through the list. At number 5, we have OJ Simpson. I forgot the full name of this series, but I loved it. It's a mini series though, and it kind of documents the case of OJ Simpson. If you know OJ, the story of OJ Simpson, of how OJ Simpson was murdered, or supposedly murdered his wife Nicole Simpson, and it's a docu-series but acted by actors. It's not really a documentary, but it is kind of like a docu-series because it's a series that depicts the case, and it depicts what happened when OJ Simpson was arrested. And if it don't fit, you must acquit, sweetie. So it basically tells the story. I loved it. I enjoyed it. And it also has Sarah Paulson. And if anything, Sarah Paulson takes a role and she kills it. It shows the case of OJ Simpson, guys. And I loved it. Gooding Jr. plays the role of OJ so perfectly. So perfectly. Even the whole, I'm not black, I'm OJ. You know, that OJ vibe. He does it perfectly, and I definitely think you guys should watch this. If you have watched the case of OJ Simpson that is on Netflix, what did you guys think about it? Definitely tell me in the comment section. I did realize in my other videos I hardly ask you guys to interact and engage with me, so I'm trying to do better, and I'm trying to, you know, have that part of me saying let's engage. I'd really like to hear from you guys, especially when it comes to what you're watching and what you have watched that I mentioned, and what you think of my reviews of what I'm mentioning. Because, you know, I'm not like, you know, the perfect, or I'm not the, what is this thing called, what am I, not the stamp, is it the stamp, or ish, you guys hear what I'm saying. I'm not the blueprint. Yes, I am not the blueprint and the final say. I may say something is enjoyable, but you didn't enjoy it, and we can definitely have that conversation down in the comments. And then from number 5, which is the case of OJ, I don't remember the full name. I'll definitely put it down though, down here in the writing of what the full name of the case of OJ was, in the name of the series. I'll definitely put it somewhere down here so that you guys can see it if you're interested in watching it. And number 4, we have Emily in Paris. So Emily in Paris is not really a hidden gem, in the sense that it just got released. It's new. It's very cute. It's very light-hearted, and I would definitely recommend it. It's just about this working girl who basically goes to Paris, and she becomes an influencer, and she works with this marketing thing and marketing firm. Was it a marketing firm? And it shows the comings and going of being an American in France. She goes to France to do this. So it's very cute. It's very lighthearted. It's very airy. It's something that can, you know, brighten up the mood if you are going through something and you want something, and you want something very cute to watch. I would definitely recommend Emily in Paris. I enjoyed it. I had fun watching it. I definitely know you will enjoy Emily in Paris, because I did too. Then we have number 3, which is The Chilling Adventures of Sabina. I loved this show. It's unfortunately cancelled, and we're having the final season, which is season 4, being released sometime this year. I don't remember which date. I think it's in November or December. But I really enjoyed this. It just retells the story of Sabrina, and Sabrina the teenage witch, by the way. Sabrina stays in Greendale, which is a city or town, small town near Riverdale. So it's in the same universe as Riverdale, if you guys know of Riverdale. Riverdale was just another mess of a show. Like, when we talk about Riverdale, we talk about those shows that start off greatly and then they just plummet, if you know what I mean. If you're a person who has watched Riverdale, and if you notice a trend, I like high school based series. I don't know why, but they're very enjoyable because it gives you just an idea of how high school kids are, and it just gives you like relatable stories of how you were in high school. So a lot of shows that I watched are very much high school based. And so Sabrina the teenage witch is this teenage girl who The Chilling Adventures of Sabina is a teenage girl who is a witch, by the way. Sabrina, the teenage witch, obviously, who's a witch, and it just navigates her witch lifestyle and her becoming the witch she is. She finds out a lot of things, especially about her parentage. So just I really enjoyed Sabrina. I watched it all and I really enjoyed it. It was very funny and it has a very lovely cast and hot guys. I'm a sucker for hot guys in a series, and Sabrina definitely gives me that. So that's something I would recommend that you watch. At number two, we have Cobra Kai. So Cobra Kai is something I just recently discovered, guys. I recently found it. I recently found Cobra Kai on Netflix and I watched it within 2 days. I finished all 2 seasons within 2 days. That's how enjoyable it was. So Cobra Kai is basically like a series that takes from Karate Kid, if you know the movie Karate Kid, but not the not the Jaden Smith Karate Kid, but the original Karate Kid with Mr. Miyagi and the original cast. So it takes from Karate Kid, and it's basically about the guy who was the bully on Karate Kid, and he's basically a loser now since the final scene of the first Karate Kid movie. And he's basically now a loser and he's just like a bum of a guy. But he meets this boy called Miguel, and basically Miguel just gives him inspiration and hope, and Miguel just gives him an idea to restart the karate gym that he was in, right? And there's also the guy who was the Karate Kid, what's this guy's name? Daniel. It also has the guy who was the Karate Kid, which is Daniel in the Karate Kid movie. But now they're older, Daniel LaRusso. They're older, and this guy opens the karate gym. And it's basically about that and how Miguel learns karate and how this guy unlearns the bad things that he was taught by his previous sensei, and he just sheds the mistakes of his past, and it's just a series based around that. But I loved it. I really enjoyed it. It just gave me a huge blast from the past, nostalgia, and it was just different. It's different from things that I have watched, especially high school based things that I have watched. So I definitely would recommend Cobra Kai. So I would recommend Cobra Kai. And funny enough, Cobra Kai, I only found it because I saw a Instagram from the Netflix. I follow the Netflix page on Instagram, and there was this scene that they were showing, and I was like, okay, what is this? And I watched it and I really enjoyed it. I loved it, and it's just light-hearted and it's different. It also teaches you about karate and the different ways in which karate can be taught and the methods. So it's just something different that I have watched. It's not really something in the categories of things I love to watch, because I love dramas, especially like hospital-based dramas, fire station-based dramas, police station-based dramas. I love dramas that are like, do I want to say healthcare or service worker based? Service worker based. And I do also like high school dramas. So this one was different as well. I have number one, guys. Okay, I think Daitanda is Nanda. Keeping this here. Number one on my hidden gems list has to be a series called Elite. I love Elite. I love it. I love Elite. It is a Spanish series as well. It's Spanish, and I really think it would be better if you watched it in Spanish, just like Money Heist, instead of watching it in dubbed English. And the plot basically is about this high school where these poor children basically get scholarships to go to this private school because of one of the parents of those private schools messed up their school and in doesn't. So they go to this private school, and it's like a mystery drama series with a lot of suspense because one of the private school elites get murdered, and it's basically based around that murder, and it just takes us back in trying to solve who did the murder. It has 3 seasons, enjoyable seasons. I love it from the beginning to the end. It is fire. It keeps you at the edge of your seat. It keeps you wondering what is going to happen, and I definitely think Elite is something that you should be watching if you have not watched it. If you have, please tell me who your favorite characters are. My favorite character has to be Nadia and Guzman. I love their love story. I love the way in which they evolved and how they matured, and how Nadia brought out Guzman's maturity, and just it just I love love stories that go from like kind of enemies, not necessarily really enemies, but kind of enemies to lovers. I love love stories that are that situation based. But I definitely think that Elite is something that you should have watched. It's one of the most underrated Netflix finds that I have watched. And guys, that is my top 10 list. So, which one do you think you are going to be watching anytime soon? If you have watched any of them, you rank them from 10 to 1 by your listing. If you've watched all of them, if you have watched some of them, which one do you think deserve to be at a higher ranking? Definitely mention that in the comment section below. Thank you so much for tuning into my video. By the way, I want to also announce a sort of giveaway thing that I want to do. So as you know, I am on the road to 2,000 subscribers, and I want to push from the 2,000 subscriber road to 5,000 subscribers for a huge giveaway. So every 1,000 subscribers I get to, I'm going to be giving away a 500 Rand voucher. It could be a 500 Rand fashion store voucher or 500 Rand cash, so that you can go get whatever you need to get. So I will be deciding when the giveaway happens, and I think I want to run the giveaways very similarly to the other giveaway that I had for my 1,000 subscribers, but I will announce when I'm starting that giveaway. So for the 2,000, 3,000, and 4,000 subscribers, I will be giving away 500 Rands in vouchers for one of my lucky subscribers. And then when I do get eventually to 5,000 subscribers, I am going to be giving away my whole lighting set that I currently use for shooting my videos, because I am going to be upgrading that, which is an 18-inch ring light and 2 soft boxes, so that if you are a creative or if you are someone who likes taking pictures, you can have lovely lighting and proper lighting that is of full quality. So once I get to 5,000 subscribers, that is something that I'll be giving away. So get your friends subscribing, get your family subscribing, subscribe yourself if you're not yet subscribed, press the notification bell, watch my videos, comment, like, do whatever you want on my channel. And until I see you guys next time, ciao. By the way, this is my final look. Bye guys.